Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, today is a couple of things about canceled cruises, but mostly about the restart of cruising, more ships coming back, and ports opening here in North America. So quickly, the ones that are canceling, we had AIDA Cruise Lines and Costa Cruise Lines have canceled a few cruises in Dubai area because of the situation going on there, as well as extended some more of their sailings in Argentina and Brazil, the cancellations there. It's just some of the protocols that are bringing out in those countries now with the Omicron variant is just almost unworkable for some of the cruise lines to work through, so they're just suspending operations until this all calms down. Another one that has been sailing since November doing Antarctica cruises, well, a smaller cruise line, they said, yeah, with the new restrictions in Argentina and the outbreaks there and the disembarkation, which means slower disembarkation of passengers, slower embarkation of passengers. We're just ending our season now and we're sending our ships back to Europe. So an Antarctica Expedition type cruise line, very small, 2 ships, but it's another case of someplace else with their restrictions is making it harder for the cruise ships to just operate at a safe and efficient and actually make any kind of money whatsoever. However, here in North America, some of the situation is much, much different. Here in Port Canaveral, we had the Carnival Miracle is back doing 3 and 4 day sailings, stops in Nassau, Princess Cay, Bimini, the new cruise destination port in the Bahamas. And it is the first time in 2 years that the ship is back. So a lot of people were excited to see the ship back. A lot of fans of them. It is Carnival's 2.0, so they have had all the upgrades and everything on that ship. And it just goes to show Carnival Horizon came back from her repairs last week. And now we're getting to see some of the Royal Caribbean and Celebrity ships that had paused for a while. They'll be coming online again very, very soon, this week and next week. So fingers crossed that there's no more stoppage and no more postponements and delays. Another thing you haven't heard, ships being turned away from cruise ports. I haven't heard of cruise ships being turned away too often right now on their sailings. Now the cruise ships, to be fair, are getting ahead of the situation. They're finding out before they get there now, are we going to be allowed in? Or they have some situations where okay, we won't be allowed in right now, but hey, we have a ship over there. If we take off some of our passengers who have to isolate, our crew members who have to isolate, and bring on some that are done isolating and are done their restriction, bring them back on, we now meet the criteria to go into the cruise port. So remember, it's been almost 2 weeks now since a lot of the crew members went to other ships and isolated. Well, their isolation time is ending now and they're being sent back to the cruise ships, which means there's less and less people considered isolated and sick on the ships because they're all coming back and they're all getting back to work, which lowers that percentage, which means less interference in the cruises, which is exactly what we've been hoping for and exactly what we're hoping going into February that this is all going. If you notice, in most cases now across the United States and in Canada, you're starting to see the dip. You're seeing cases starting to drop, hospitalizations starting to drop, and that's a good sign for everybody, not just cruise ships. We also have some really interesting news coming out of Canada for Alaska cruises, but before I get there, let me just invite you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. It keeps you up to date with all things cruising, from cruise ports opening, to protocols, to testing requirements, to new ship vlogs and destinations. It just really helps the channel if you subscribe. It tells YouTube, hey, people are interested in this. Let's share it to more people. And it doesn't cost a thing. You're not signing up for anything other than, hey, Don put out another video today. And I'd really, really appreciate it. Okay. what's happening for Alaska? Well, Vancouver has just come out and said that they are prepping right now to get ready to open up for the 2022 season. The ban on cruise ships in Canada ends at the 28th of next month, just in time to ramp up for the season. They are so ready for the cruise ship season that they say this is going to be a record-breaking year in Vancouver for how many ships stop at the cruise port. Over 22 ships will make Vancouver a regular stop on their Alaska cruises or, Trans-Pacific cruises. Another good thing is they're starting to throw some money into the area. They're prepping up the boardwalk area along the coast where a lot of cruise ships and hotels are situated, where you can walk along and there's storefront, there's oceanfront, lots of things happening. You'll see bucksters out there, jugglers and all. It's a very nice place to walk around and just visit. It's usually beautiful anyway, but they're throwing more money in it. They're also throwing more money into the actual terminal. Now, this terminal was built as a convention center more than a cruise terminal. So it's an awkward build sometimes, but they're knocking down walls and they're making a bigger footprint in the cruise terminal to make it a better destination for cruisers and guests alike. So that's great news as well. And they're also doing work on the actual docks out there, putting in new footings and just making the area look beautiful, and which just excites me more and more for our Alaska cruise coming up in June of this year. Can't wait to get back to Vancouver. I'm hoping maybe I can get down for a couple days and just spend a few days in Vancouver. I might even drive to Vancouver because I loved driving across country last year and visiting driving through the prairies and maybe stopping and seeing friends along the way. It sounds like a great trip, but I know Vancouver's going to be beautiful. And one more thing, one more cruise destination that I mentioned the other day, that Celebrity had this really interesting Trans-Pacific cruise that will visit Tahiti and stuff like that. But you know what? Nobody's gone to Tahiti in 2 years. The cruise ships haven't been going. Well, that all ended last week. We now have Viking Orion went to Tahiti and became the first cruise ship to visit since the pandemic. So Tahiti and Fiji and Bora Bora, they're all starting to open up again coming for this season. And that is good news because it's great to get away to the Caribbean. It's great to get away to Alaska. But a lot of cruisers and a lot of cruising is getting away to those exotic destinations that you don't normally go to. You can get to the Caribbean pretty easy. You can take a flight to Jamaica. You can take a flight into Mexico. It's not that hard to do. Going to Fiji, going to Bora Bora, going to Asia, that involves a lot more. And sometimes it's a lot easier to do that on a cruise ship. And seeing the islands from the water as opposed to the water from the land can make all the difference. That's one of the reasons I'm looking forward to Greece, because we got a lot of stops in Greece this summer, and the view of the Greek islands from the ocean is gorgeous, and I still get to step foot on the islands and see the ocean from that point of view. It's the best of both worlds, everybody. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.